right, everybody. Welcome to another show of Life Gone Real. I have an amazing guest with me today. I met her several years ago. I think we met maybe at the gym, of course, Equinox.
Yeah, probably. It was either at the gym or like somewhere outside of like somewhere to get food.
Could be. I think it was the gym. And then we both are realtors, and she is an investor. She's an entrepreneur. She's an advocate for women, which I love. She's a dog mom, and her dog Lola is so stinking cute.
Lola has no plans.
I love her. I love her so much. And she has also been married for 8 years, and I love you guys you do work together a little bit too. He's a contractor.
He's
right?
a builder. So he builds like high-end custom houses. And so, yeah, we occasionally work together. Well, we've bought properties and flipped them and bought them and acquired them, and then we rent them out, and then I manage them. And so, yeah, we definitely intersect.
I love that. And I like that you guys work together too, or can. I'm sure. Yeah, I see it on your face.
It's quite the journey.
I love it. So I have her on the show today, and honestly, we're just going to chit chat a little bit about everything. I wanted her on the show to talk about, we were going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about, she thinks men date better than women. I'm kind of curious about that. Obviously, I am in the dating world, newly single, not even just for my ex-husband, but also again, yes, I dated for a little while, a great guy, and now I'm moving on, but we can talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, so I don't know. Take it away. What do you think? Where should we dive into first?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I'm really happy for you that you have created this platform for yourself, because you are living in your truth and you're putting it out there and you're being authentic and vulnerable. And that's more than what I can say for so many other people out there, not just as a woman, just as a human being. You're wearing your heart on your shoulder, and I honor you so much for showing up like this.
Wow.
No, I'm being serious. I honor you, because it takes a lot.
Wow, that's really sweet.
I see you throwing yourself out there, and it takes a lot. And I feel like that's going to open a lot of other doors for you. And I'm sure you already know it has, whether it's professionally or personally.
Yeah.
And I think that just allows for so much more to organically develop in your life. And I'm a really big believer in that.
Oh, thank you so much. That literally, I'm going to soak all that in, because I need that right now. And thank you so much. That was really sweet. Like literally, I was holding back tears. That's very sweet. Thank you, Suzi.
I mean that. And that alone, kind of like going right into what we were talking about, the whole dating thing. That's why I feel like men are a little bit better at dating than women, because women, we can be control freaks. And I'm not saying that men are not like that. There's plenty of men. I mean, if you've met my husband, you would know that he's way more the control freak than I am.
Really?
Yes. He's the high maintenance one. I'm very much more the laid back in the relationship.
Wow.
He's like, when we first moved in together, he put a sign on my front door that said, "Please take your shoes off, management." Because he just doesn't want people wearing shoes in the house. And I get that, because in my culture, I'm Persian. I was raised Persian, and you don't wear shoes in the house. So when I go into someone's house, that's why I asked you when I came, I always ask to take my shoes off. It's funny, because as a real estate agent, people actually really appreciate it, but I'm like, that's just how I grew up. I don't know anything else.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
But I do notice that women, we have these tendencies to be very like control freaks, and we want to just control everything that happens to us. We have these timelines. We need to move in together by this point. I need to be pregnant we need to be engaged by this point. I need to be pregnant by this point. I need to have a kid by 35. Like stop.
Right.
It's actually embarrassing. As a woman, and I'm an advocate for women, I think it's extremely embarrassing that women behave that way. I understand that we all have a biological clock.
Yeah.
But we live in a modern society, and if you want to have a kid, go have a kid. You don't need to wait around for a man. If anything, we all know we don't need to wait around for men to do anything.
That's true.
You want to have a kid, go have a kid. I understand if you want the values and you want the tradition or religious reasons, but guess what? If you go into it with the wrong reasons, that's why you're going to end up divorced.
Wow.
Because you got married for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And it's something that I just see more often in women than men.
Wow.
And I see like I'll say, hey, I've got a guy that I really want to hook you up with. The first thing they say, and guys are guilty of this too, what's their Instagram? What's their social profile? Like, no, don't stalk each other.
They want to stalk first. That's true.
Don't do that.
Funny.
That is the dumbest thing you could ever do, because you are making preconceived notions. You're making assumptions about the other person that you know nothing about.
Right.
If you don't really trust your friend, then you shouldn't have them set you up in the first place.
True.
But if you trust your friend, then let them organically allow you to meet someone and see how that plays out. I think that our tendency to control things doesn't allow organic life to unfold organically. And then that's why people end up divorced. People end up heartbroken. People end up with a child and without a partner.
Right.
I think it's because a lot of us attach these expectations to things and how we ideally see them going. And that, it's the biggest sort of like, it's the easiest way to just trip yourself up. Like, I think that if we were able to be a little bit more reserved, and maybe not reserved is the right word, but just hands off, you know?
Kind of just let it go a little bit.
Let's
let it
see
go.
Where it goes. Exactly.
Let's go with the flow.
Exactly. Which is hard, right?
Well, yes, but not, because that's exactly what happened with me. Just with a relationship, a new relationship that is no longer. But yeah, that's exactly what I did. It was actually a beautiful thing because I did let go. I went with the flow. And I had no expectations.
Okay. And how do you feel now having had done that?
I would not have done it another way. I would do it all over again. Even though I'm sad that it did not work out. So yes, people out there, it did not work out. And sad because it was it was really, really great. We were really compatible. We had a great time. It went really, really quickly and fast, but you connected. We just connected. And honestly, at where I was in that time in my life, I let go. But I made that decision of like, you know what? I'm ready and I'm open-hearted and let's do this and see where it goes. So I did make that choice and it was a beautiful thing. Not going to lie. It was a beautiful thing. Even though I am heartbroken a little, yes, and sad that it did not work out. It's a bummer. And honestly, who knows? I don't know, really. I don't know what the future holds. But I did let it go. But I think us women, it's that control because we want certainty so bad.
That's why we always fight for closure.
Yes.
Stop fighting for closure. Yeah. Just let life happen. If you just let life happen and didn't have to put a label on things and get close, and I get it, like we all want closure. I would be lying to you if I said that there weren't situations that I needed closure in, or I wanted closure. I went after that closure. I'm guilty of everything I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it, because I've done it.
Right.
And I feel like if you don't attach yourself to an outcome, so many beautiful things can happen. Like, there was a guy that I dated in high school that I really wasn't that into. There was something like his fingers were really fat. And for some reason, I could never get around the fact that he had fat fingers. For some reason.
That's so funny.
I look at teeth and I look at hands. Those are the first. Well, on a guy, if I first meet him, I look at his smile and I look at his shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Shoes tell you everything you need to know about a man.
That's true.
Because a lot of guys will have a nice outfit, but they get like old, dirty sneakers on. And that tells me you're a half-asser.
Ooh.
That tells me you're not the whole enchilada. Like, no.
Wow.
If you're like, and they don't need to be Gucci shoes, but you got to take care of your shoes. It's like your car. If I get in your car and your car is a mess, that's gross.
That's great. Yeah.
That's gross. Like, I don't want to be taken out on a date by a guy who has a dirty car.
No.
It's things like that.
No, totally. Wow, I never thought about. I mean, I have teeth is a bit. A smile absolutely is big with me, and for some reason, which obviously, you don't usually see this right away, but I like a guy who has nice feet.
Oh, that's funny because I like a guy who has nice hands.
I know. So when you said hands, I was like, I like him.
That's so funny.
But I also like nice hands too. Like the more I
don't even want to
see
their feet.
I know. Well, and that's what's funny. I don't want to see their feet right then.
See their feet.
And that's kind of weird to say, but I don't know. There are some. I just like a guy to really and to groom themselves,
take care of themselves,
take care of themselves,
because you take care of yourself.
Yes,
yeah. That's not a lot to ask.
I'm a really, really big thing on that. So all you men out there, if you're listening, take care of yourself, groom yourself.
Yeah,
seriously.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with like facial hair, but like just like don't have like food stuck in it. That's kind of weird. But yeah, so there was this guy in high school, for example, I dated, and he was a really sweet guy. His name was Tim.
He had fat fingers.
He had really fat fingers. It's fine. I can share it all here. He went to Agora. I'm not going to say his last name. And yeah, the fat finger guy, he was cool, but I had like I just like wasn't feeling it. So we ended up breaking up, and then years later we ran into each other again, but we ended on like good terms. And years later we run into each other, and he has this friend named Chase, who I was just like, oh my God, who is that? And because I was never like a bitch, and I didn't make it like a yes or a no, like I just sort of was like, I'm not feeling it. Like I came to him as like a friend, and we ended on amicable terms. Yeah, his ego was hurt, but like we remained friends. It wasn't like this, like, I don't want to be with you, we're done. When I later met his buddy and I was like into his buddy actually said something to him, and he was like, oh no, Susie's like super cool, like you'll like her. And it was because I didn't burn that bridge.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't make it an all or nothing type thing. Now I understand there's situations, like I've had a guy who I was with for 4 years. I cheated on him. He broke my heart. I thought I was going to marry him. His family was super racist and treated me like crap. And yeah, like weird Mormon stuff was going on there. Very weird. But you know, I went through that, and after that relationship, I felt really broken, and a part of me really, really wanted that closure, and I almost wanted to fight for it, and instead of fighting for it, I let it go. And later on, he reached out to me, and he had gotten like a DUI, and he was in a really bad place in his life, and it was like he who needed the closure, and I was free.
Wow.
And it was because I didn't attach myself to the outcome. I didn't attach myself to the meaning that I had in my head of what it all meant.
Okay.
I just focused on myself.
Yeah.
And that's really the power that we all have. And I think as women and some men, you know, I can't comment on, you know, like homosexual relationships because I'm a straight heterosexual. I'm a heterosexual woman who's attracted to men. But as far as heterosexual relationships, you know, one of the biggest things I always notice, and this was something I was actually waiting to tell you over the podcast. I don't know if I ever told you this on the phone, but my biggest qualm with dating between men and women is I notice that women, we tend to fall in love with potential.
Oh, geez. Wow. Yeah.
We fall in love with who we think in our head he could be. Oh my God, but he's so talented. Like, girl, he plays at the wrinkle room on the weekends, and he's just playing guitar for tips. Yeah, but he's so talented. Like, he can pick up any instrument and play it. Right. Okay, but like, what is he doing for work? Oh, like he has a part-time job at Staples. Okay. So yeah, but he's so talented.
Okay. He could get a record deal. I mean, I can see it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, Susie, that's really, really, that's true.
It's profound, in my opinion. Women, we fall in love with potential. Women, we're the ones that write Mrs. Smith in our notebooks when we were little kids. Mrs. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Mrs. What's his name? Mrs. Ryan Gosling. Mrs. Timberlake. Like, women do stuff like men don't do shit like that.
No.
Men don't care. Men have a tendency, and this is, I don't know if I'll go there, but go. Do you ever notice how a lot of really attractive Hollywood men actors are married to women who are not as like attractive as they are?
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? Men tend to fall in love with what's right in front of them.
Oh.
Men don't fantasize. I mean, they fantasize, but I just notice with men, they don't tend to think in their heads of what somebody could be. I mean, yes, there's the men who date a woman because it's like, oh, I can bring her home to mom.
Right.
But they're not going to be like, oh, but she has the potential.
Right.
Because men are not like that. They're not wired that way.
Right.
When a guy has a problem with another guy, he's like, fuck you, dude. And then they're like, fuck you too. And then they're like, all right, let's go get a beer. And they're over it. But with women, when we have issues, it's like, oh my God, Ashley, can you believe what Stephanie did? Oh my God, Megan, Stephanie totally pissed me off. Oh my God, Jasmine, Stephanie's such a bitch. Like we rally an army.
We rally it. And then we also get in our head and we assume.
Yep.
And I've done that many times. It's like, well, I think they thought this. I bet it was this way. Or so we assume so much.
And
that
social
happens a lot.
social media has made it worse for both sexes, not just women. It's made it worse for men and women. I remember one of my husband's friends, I was like, oh, I want to introduce you to someone. He's like, what's her Instagram?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not giving it to you. He's like, well, then don't waste my time. I was like, cool, no problem then. Like, if you're going to be that way, then you don't even deserve to meet her. She's a 10.
Wow.
You're like an 8.
Wow. And you're like,
seriously.
wow.
But with that attitude, you're not going to get her, because that is the wrong attitude to go into it right off the bat. And so women, we tend to fall in love with potential versus what's right there. I've made that mistake. The guy who I was with for 4 years, I was like, oh my God, but he's so smart. He's going to make it in football. Like, he's so talented. Like, he's got it. No, he ended up getting kicked out of college for using drugs, and he like failed because he didn't do his homework. And like, now I heard he's like a personal trainer. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a personal trainer, but like, he didn't know how to like write checks. Like, he didn't know how to do his taxes. And I get it. Taxes is something they should be teaching in school, but like, I
agree.
Get your shit together. Like, if you're in your 20s, like, you should know how to write a check.
Yes.
We're in our 20s and he didn't know how to write a check.
Yeah. Now though, there's so much, honestly, my kids don't even, I don't even know.
Now nobody's writing a check now.
Nobody's
this was
checks.
like 15, this was 10. I mean, I'm 35. So this was like 21. This was over 12 years ago when people still were using checks.
Right. Yeah.
But with men, that's why men tend to be more, I think, vain up front than women are. I know plenty of women that have that like 30,000 point checklist.
Yeah.
Throw that out the window.
Yeah.
What my therapist told me, and this may not work for everybody, is narrow it down to 5 things. Pick 5 things. Now, of that 5, pick 3 that are non-negotiable.
Oh, that's
straight
good.
up non-negotiable. And that's what you use as like, it's not like lowering your standards, because they don't have to be low. Like, my non-negotiables were, he had to have something he was passionate about, or something that he did for like a living that was like just either something that really drove him, or he was passionate about.
He had to have a drive.
He had to have a drive or passion. So that was one. He had to take care of himself, because I dated too many guys that didn't.
That's that would be a big thing for me.
And he had to be able to handle his liquor. That sounds like a weird non-negotiable.
But honestly, we're probably, if I had to say 3, that would be me.
Because people change when they drink.
Oh, well, and I've experienced that.
Exactly. And as have I.
And it's horrific.
I'm the daughter of someone who is an alcoholic, and I have dated, obviously, I've dated an alcoholic. I'm also the daughter of, I grew up in domestic abuse and physical abuse and verbal and emotional abuse. And I've also ended up with a guy that did that stuff to me too. Wow. It's textbook.
Yeah.
And so to me, if you change, and this is just my perspective, if you change when you drink, that's who you really are.
I agree. Because drinking, that is what comes out of you. Honestly, when I drink...
Are you like more lovable?
It's just more me. Exactly. I'm more lovable. I'll go dance on the bar.
Yeah.
I'll like just whatever. Like, I'm super... That is me.
Because you're fun. That's who you are.
Yeah. So I don't become a bitch. I don't become like Rhoda. And actually, I may usually say things that I possibly wouldn't say, not in a bad way, but like, it's just like, oh, truth. Well, I'm like, oh,
liquid truth.
I just said, so it's a liquid truth, not bad. It's just, I'll say it instead of probably holding it back. I won't have a filter as much. There we go.
Most people don't. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So I really love the fact about holding liquor, because that's a big thing. The guy that I just, we just called it quits was honestly, hands down, I'm kind of thinking, I don't think I fell for him hard and fast. And I let it go, ladies. And men, I went with the flow, like, and it's fine. But I fell for him really, really hard and fast. But it was a beautiful thing. We both fell for each other. It was mutual. Like, it just was this great. It was just this great thing. But I don't know if I fell though in love with his potential.
It sounds like you didn't.
I didn't.
It doesn't sound like you did, which it sounds like it was a healthy relationship.
Wow. Yeah. And because I really fell in love with these amazing qualities he had. It was like, I think he had great qualities. He's a great man. I remember one date, and this is when I was like, oh my God, I am falling. He literally said to me of like who I am. He's like, you really are a person who wants to see people grow and help them and this and that. And I'm just like, I was speechless because for the first time I was like,
felt seen.
This exactly. And that's when I started falling in love with him. It was that night. I think it was our fourth night. I think it was our fourth date.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And we had but I remember, and I even shared that with him. I said, I started falling for you. This was the night.
We all want to be seen.
We
all want to be felt.
seen.
We all want to be understood.
Yes. And he said, it was crazy. I don't know. I mean, he said a lot of right things. I don't know. Maybe he's dated many times. I'm sure he has. You'll he's
never
a great
know.
person. We went on great dates, and I think I'm sure he has dated a lot. I really don't know. We didn't go into crazy details. Obviously, we talked a little bit of like deeper relationships and how many like serious relationships he had. But we didn't go into crazy detail of that. But it actually, in all of that, even though I've come out of that, I was so glad that I did do that because, one, I found out more things about me. And two, I really found out qualities I want in a man.
Ding, 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 ding,
in my life. Like, and he actually checked a lot of them, which is sad. It's just a sad thing. It's sad that it just didn't work out because he checked a lot, and it was very easy and natural, and it flowed well, and it was just it was refreshing. He was a breath of fresh air, and I said
love that.
He really was.
If I can give you one piece of unsolicited advice, now that it's no longer, and you may or may not be still in communication, I'm not sure. I'm sure okay. Did you end it on like okay terms at least where there's no bad blood?
We did.
Okay. So what I would just say is moving forward, whether he's in your life or not, even as a friend, do not let yourself fall into falling for what the potential of what it could be later on.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because then you're crippling yourself.
That could have been possibly, yes, because obviously, you've been dating for a while. At the time, I think we were getting into more of a 4-month mark, going to, that 4 and 6 mark. So then you're really starting to possibly see future, correct?
I feel like you don't really know who somebody is, so you've been with them for at least a year.
I agree with
that, which is funny because I married my husband after like 4 months.
Okay, we should talk about that.
I fell in love with what was right in front of me.
Let's talk about it. We need to talk about that.
I'm not one to say don't rush into it, but I think I'm a very level-headed person, and when it came to dating, I was always very level-headed, and I feel like because I was not that person, I dated multiple people before I met my husband. I was dating multiple people when I met him.
Okay.
And I think that for me, it was, like I said, I'm all about letting things happen organically. I don't like to force things, whether it's friendships, any type of relationship, I don't force it. And I think for that reason, life has opened up endless possibilities for me. Wow. I believe in living a life in abundance, and I have an abundance mindset. I don't live my life in scarcity. And I don't think of like, I know someone's going to say, well, it's easy for you to say you've been married for 8 years. What of us who are in our mid 30s or our late 30s and who are single? I would tell you to re-examine what it is you really want. Because if you just want to be married, you are looking for the wrong thing. Because you don't even know what marriage is. Because marriage is not this pretty little Tiffany's box with a what is it, the white ribbon and the blue box. No. That's not what marriage is.
Oh, no. It's a lot.
It's a fucking roller coaster ride.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, we'll be married 8 years this March, together 8 and almost a half. I mean, we met July 4th weekend in Las Vegas at a nightclub. It was love at first sight for me. I don't know about him, but he pretended to be he saved me from like a creepy guy that was hitting on me by pretending to be my boyfriend.
Okay.
And then I'll never forget, he had 2 drinks in his hand and he gave me one of them, and the other guy got scared and like ran off because he's a bigger guy, like bigger stature. And then he just looked at me and he was like, "My name's Pat. I believe you owe me a drink." And I was just like, "Do you like tequila?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Cool, let's go take some double shots. Like, let's see what you're made of." And we danced until we got kicked out of the club, and then we spent the whole night talking and swapping music and sharing what we're passionate about. Aww. And I didn't see him again until November.
Wow.
Because that was July 4th weekend. We'd email, which is so weird to say. Like we'd email.
Yeah, email. It's like,
He would
what?
he's not like tech, so he'd email me random stuff over the whatever few months between July and it was end of October, beginning of November when I saw him next. And when he came, he said, "Oh, he was in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
I was living in LA at the time, so I literally thought after that Vegas trip that I'll never see this guy again."
Right.
And one thing I want to make sure that people understand is that I actually almost didn't go on this trip.
Yeah.
This was a 24-hour trip because I work all the time. Mm-hmm. And it was a Saturday. I'd gotten home from work at 2 and I knew I didn't have to work on Sunday. And I was like, screw it. My roommate was living with me. I was like, let's go to Vegas for the night. And she's like, I'm down. And a bunch of my friends were there. They had a big penthouse suite. They were like, why don't you come? And I was like, cool, I'm coming. And then I found out this girl was there who I really didn't want to be around. Mm-hmm. And it's personal reasons. You know, she had a lot to do with a friend of mine who had committed suicide, and there's just not like bad blood, but just bad memories.
Okay.
And I didn't want to be around her, and I didn't really want to be associated with her, and I wasn't gonna go. And my friend's wife called me and was like, Susie, you know, you never struck me as that person that like let other people dictate what they do. And totally reverse psychology my ass. Got in the car, drove to Vegas. Got there, got dressed, went to the nightclub, and then I met Pat. And if I had not done that, I wouldn't have met him.
Oh,
all because I didn't want to be around someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. And in that moment, I told myself, like, I'm never going to let that happen. I'm never going to let my distaste or just not want or discomfort stop me from doing something.
That's so good.
Because
you never know.
The more you do, the more opens up for you.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd never see him again after that trip. And then in November, he's like, oh, I'll come to LA and I'll come visit you. And he came here, but not to see me. He came with a bunch of his guy friends. They were having a guys trip. They were going out clubbing every night. He stayed for a whole week and he invited me out every night. And I said, no.
Wow.
I said, no. No, sorry, I'm busy. Oh, what are you doing? It's a Monday night. Yeah, I have plans.
Wow.
Even when I wasn't.
Right.
I was busy.
Okay.
You make plans with me. You don't hit me up. Hey, want to go out tonight? No. And I was like that when I was dating.
Okay, yeah. That's good.
I want to be courted.
Yeah.
I make them make plans. Like if it's a Friday and you're hitting me up on a Friday to take me out, I'm busy.
No, right. I like that. No, and that's one thing I did love about the guy that I was dating. He was great. He totally took advantage. Like he did all the dates. Like he planned everything. He was fantastic. He planned ahead.
That's what we like.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Because it shows that they're thinking about you. They care enough to be like, oh, next Friday, I don't know when Valentine's Day is, but like just hypothetically.
It's Sunday.
Yeah, next whenever is Valentine's Day. And I really I want to make plans with her. Like, hey, leave that day open for me. Yeah. You know, not the day of or the day before. Come on, guys.
The day of is not.
And girls, straight up, if you fall into that shit, I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Because you are enabling them.
Yeah.
By just giving in to the last minute plan.
The last minute. Exactly. Like all of a sudden you're like,
maybe you're the last minute option. Like,
I know.
Maybe there was there's another girl he's making plans with.
There was another, there was a guy that I had dated. We went on one date. He was great this past summer. Great. It was a great first date. Like I loved it. And then we talked a little bit off and on through a few weeks. I think he was going to try to come back out because he lives like he lives like in LA, so far from us. But let's see, what was the thing? Oh, he was like, you know what? And he dates a lot. You know, he was dating other people. So he had said, you know, I just recently started dating someone and you're just going to see where it goes. And he's just letting me nice. It was a really nice text. And honestly, I was like, thank you for sharing. Thank you for letting me know. It was all mutual. So a few months later, he was like, hey, clearly things didn't go well with that other one. And he said, hey, would you like to grab that second drink? You know, that. And honestly, I actually was seeing the person that I just split with. But if I had not been seeing someone, I would have said no. Because I was not first choice. You were dating someone else and you're going to go see oh, let's see how it's going to work with me. But so I was second choice.
I mean, I don't
right? Like that's when I was like, I don't think I could do. I don't know.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being second choice. That's not my issue. It's the way he approached it. You want to go get that second drink? He texted you that?
Yeah,
he should have
kind of worded a little bit like that.
He should have picked up the phone and called you
me.
and been like, "Hey, how are you?" Small talk, and then been like, "So yeah, it didn't work out with the other person I was dating, but I wanted to honor that relationship, and I didn't want to make you feel like you weren't going to be the only person I was focusing on."
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And now that didn't work out, and it's unfortunate it didn't work out, but sometimes things are just not meant to be. I'd love to explore it with you.
Wow. Yeah. In a conversation.
How would you have felt if I had done it that way? If I was the guy and I had done that?
Totally. I would have said yes.
Take notes, guys.
Guys, are you listening? It's true. That's true. And I actually don't like a lot of the texting. Well, I mean, texting is totally
in a different
fine.
era where texting
so
is
texting is constantly, and so that's fine. A few times, I would call, the guy, and we would chat for a little bit. But I think I'm more of a personable person, so I like in face and all that stuff. And when we did call it quits, it was face to face. It wasn't over a text, and it wasn't over a phone call.
I got broken up with over a text after a couple years.
That happened with me in a little way.
It was
a
like 2
long
years.
Text. It was a
whole
paragraph, and I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah, I got a little paragraph, but it wasn't long.
I was like, no, and I was upset because I was like, no, this deserves a conversation.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you don't just.
He's just a coward.
And it actually wasn't like we had a relationship. We were seeing each other, but. It's kind of no. That was not cool.
I think it depends on the length of time because everything is circumstantial.
Yeah, that's true.
It's funny because I have certain rules, but I don't necessarily believe in rules for everything, and I also do believe rules are meant to be broken. But I think the thing is you got to find rules that work for you. Like what I said for me, the when a guy would hit me up the day of, and I'd say no, I have plans. That's one of my rules.
Okay, yeah.
That's one of my rules.
No, I love that. That's really good.
So when Pat came in town with all of his guy friends and he was hitting me up on Monday when he got in town, was like, hey, you want to go out in Hollywood tonight? I was like, sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Tuesday, hit me up. Hey, you want to go out in Hollywood tonight? Sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Wednesday, same thing. Sorry, I'm busy. Thursday, sorry, I'm busy.
So what happened?
Friday, he calls me and he goes, so are we going to hang out tonight or what? And I was like, oh, I'm at my place in Santa Monica. I'm going to be out with my friends tonight. Well, I'm in Newport with my friends. I'm like, cool, have fun in Newport. He's like, wait. I want to see you though. I was like, well, you can come here if you want. I'm going to be out in Santa Monica with my friends, but I'm here. And he drove his ass from Newport to Santa Monica that night.
Wow.
Met up with me and my friends. We ended up, I don't even know how, but losing everybody. Spent the night together. That was the night we, I like to say we crossed international borders.
Got you.
And it was the worst sex I'd ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I bet you want to hear more of Susie's story on that note. So tune in next week for part 2 of this episode. Y'all have a great day out there.